I can't live in California anymore.
California is one of the most dynamic places on the planet, but it is a case study in how a rich society can spend more and more while producing less and less of what its ordinary citizens need.
Really, LA? Did you really vote to raise your own sales tax to 10.25%? We already have the highest sales tax, and now it's the highest in the entire country.
No one is leaving because of our weather. No one is leaving because of our beaches. They're leaving because of taxes and overregulation. If they own a business, their businesses are being overregulated, overtaxed.
The paradox of California today is a successful economy attached to a failing model of governance.
When CNN starts sounding like the receipts that we've been talking about and been pulling out for months on this channel, you have to stop what you're doing and you need to listen. Fareed Zakaria sat in a chair on GPS and laid out California like a crime scene. One party, one playbook, and we see one outcome. Let's get into it.
In California, Republican Steve Hilton finished ahead of many high-spending Democrats in the governor's race to advance to the November election, facing Democrat Javier Becerra. In Los Angeles, an overwhelmingly Democratic city, Spencer Pratt, a Republican former reality television personality, looked as if he might make the mayoral general election before finishing third. California Democrats will be tempted to dismiss all this as a sideshow, but the frustration is real and justified.
No one is leaving because of our weather. No one is leaving because of our beaches. They're leaving because of taxes and overregulation. If they own a business, their businesses are being overregulated, overtaxed. If they are living here, the cost of living is too high, the taxes are too high, and they're finding their dream in another state. Their California dream has turned into, where can we find a better life for me, my wife, my kids, my family, my business. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say, okay, well, if it's taxes and regulation and cost of living, then somebody better fix the taxes, regulation, and cost of living. Regulations are easy. We sign all of those away. It'll take years to go back and fix those bills that were passed into laws that actually made the boards or commissions. But all of those boards and commissions can be suspended.
California is one of the most dynamic places on the planet. It has Silicon Valley, Hollywood, world-class universities, extraordinary agriculture, ports, talent, and natural beauty. But it is a case study in how a rich society can spend more and more while producing less and less of what its ordinary citizens need.
So we see the bluest state in America, Republican, finish ahead of big money Democrats in the governor's race. Fareed frames it like it's a surprise, but it's not really a surprise to anyone who's actually living in that area. When Spencer Pratt, a reality TV show guy with zero political experience, is close enough to almost make a runoff in the mayor's race in Los Angeles, that's not voters falling in love with Republicans. That's voters telling the people in charge that we're done. And who's been in charge? It's been one party for years. The governor's mansion, the legislature, the big city halls, all of it. So when the wheels come off, there's no one else really to point at. You can't blame the opposition when there isn't one. Here's what I want you guys to hold on to as we go through this. Every single problem that Zakaria is about to list happened under the same leadership, same policies, same promise. So keep score with me, because the man currently running that state is going to probably try to run for the White House next.
Since 2000, California's population has grown by roughly 15%, but the state's general expenditures have grown more than 200%, from $78 billion to about $248 billion. General spending per person has risen from about $2,300 to about $6,300. The number of state employees has grown by more than 50% by one count. Does anyone think that California government and its benefits have gotten 200% better in the last 25 years?
So we see some real numbers here. Population is up 15%, but spending is over 200%. If your household grew by 15%, but your bills tripled, you'll be asking the very same, very hard questions about who the hell is running the budget. Fareed asked the only question that matters. Does anybody actually believe that California's government got 200% better over the last 25 years? Because I've been watching what's going on. I've been there myself. I've covered all these things. And I see when it comes to roads, schools, homelessness, the cost of living, nobody in California is telling me that their daily life is twice as good as the year 2000. Nobody.
I moved to LA and left LA in the same year. After 7 months of living there, I left. The only good thing that I can say is that the weather is nice. They have really nice views, mountains, beaches, and it's a lot to do. Other than that, the homelessness out there is insane. Like, it's homeless people everywhere. They even have a section downtown that they took over called Skid Row, and it's like a whole homeless community. And the job market out there, I don't even think it exists. It's so hard getting a job.
I can't live in California anymore. I'm a social worker, a single mom of 3. I have a master's degree. I just got a decent job, but I can't support my family here. And the quality of life, it's not something I want to give my children. I'm currently sleeping in my parents' living room, and we live in a very dangerous area. I just don't see how our lives can improve here. Every single day we walk past gang activity, drugs, homelessness, and it's heartbreaking. And rent to live in a place like this is $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Anything in a slightly better neighborhood is over $3,000. And as a single mother, I don't know how I can afford that. Honestly, I don't know how anybody can afford that. And that's why I live in an area where there's multiple families in a 1-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment. There's like 10 people living in a 2-bedroom, 8 people living in a 1-bedroom apartment because no one can afford this.
This is the part where the compassion branding meets the receipts. You can spend $248 billion and say all the right words, but spending isn't outcomes. Hiring 50% more government workers isn't the same as fixing 50% more problems. Sometimes it's just a bigger payroll attached to the same broken machine. This is the Democrat blueprint that's going on right there. In this blueprint, I'm sure the governor of California would like to take this national. So when somebody tells you we just need to spend more money, show them this number. Spending was never the missing ingredient. Real quick before we keep going, we're talking about a government that spends more and more and somehow delivers less and less to the people who actually need it. And that's exactly what happens with Medicare every single year. People get pushed towards a plan that costs them more and covers them less because someone else is getting paid on the back end. That's why I work with Chapter. Whether you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, Chapter search every plan available in your area, all of them, and finds the one that actually fits you, not the one with the fattest commission. The advice is free, there's zero pressure, and they won't push you into anything you don't need. Call Chapter at 570-906-8018. That's 570-906-8018. Or you can check out the link in the description below. Get the coverage you actually deserve. Now, let's get back into it.
California has long spoken the language of compassion while building a system of exclusion. The LA metro area, with nearly 13 million people, issued only 118,000 building permits for new homes. Atlanta, with about half that population, issued 163,000. California has made it too hard, slow, and expensive to build. The result is predictable. Home prices soar, rents rise, workers commute farther, homelessness grows, young people leave. And people are leaving. Over the past 7 years, the state has lost a net 1.9 million people through domestic migration. For generations, people moved to California to pursue the future. Now many middle-class people are leaving.
We have to repeat that line again. Compassion while building a system of exclusion. Let's look at the head-to-head. LA, 13 million people, 118,000 permits. Atlanta, half the population with more permits. When you make it too slow, too expensive, and too hard to build, you don't get affordable housing, you get a bidding war over the homes that already exist. Prices soar, rents climb, and the working people get priced out of the very place that they're born.
Right now, I just went to CVS. Guess how much this cost? Take a look at this pile of items, okay? We got a couple of hair items. We got some ear cleaners, very sexy. More hair items, okay? Travel size, shampoo, hair mask, disinfectant wipe, some Pampers, pimple patches, travel size Listerine, eye drops. Guess how much this cost? I want to hear your guesses. What do you think? $128. $128. Guys, this cost of living thing, I'm starting to feel it. It's ghetto. I need to leave LA.
Sounds like what's happening here in New York City. We don't have enough apartments, they're not building them fast enough, and that's why it's so expensive to live here. But let's go back to California. The huge number of this whole situation is that 1.9 million people left. They went through the front door, moved on to other states. For generations, people moved to California chasing the future. Now the middle class is packing U-Hauls and getting out of there because they can't afford to live in the present day California. You can't call yourself the party of working families and then run a system where working families literally could not afford to stay. That's not a talking point. That's 1.9 million people voting with their feet.
Total spending on education through 12th grade has more than doubled since the early 2010s. And per pupil spending by 2023 was well above the national average. Yet the results remain dismal. In the 2024 Nation's Report Card, California was 43rd in 4th grade math, 39th in 4th grade reading, 36th in 8th grade math, and 38th in 8th grade reading.
Now we gotta talk about how dumb our children are becoming. And I'm not being facetious, that's what's actually happening. We're seeing the same pattern, different department, you're just seeing this repeating itself. The education spending more than doubled, so you think that the kids are crushing it, right? No. 43rd and 4th grade math, 39th in reading. For years, the excuse was, well, the schools are just underfunded. Well, that excuse is dead. The money came and the results didn't.
Homelessness tells the same story in a more painful register. A 2024 audit revealed California had spent $24 billion on the problem over a 5-year span. Yet, in 2024, California reached a record high in homelessness, almost 200,000.
Now let's talk about homelessness. And we've talked about this plenty of times on this channel. We just did a video talking about what's going on in Skid Row. $24 billion over the last 5 years. An audit said so. And after all that money being spent, California hit a record high, almost 200,000 people without a home. Now think about what $24 billion could have done if they actually reached the people. But instead, what you have is people like Fareed basically calling this a aid complex, an expensive, elaborate machine that grows and grows, and somehow the problem grows right alongside it. Who's getting the money? Who's actually getting paid here? And this is the theme of this entire situation that's happening in California. You're spending more and you're getting less. Education, housing, homelessness, same story every time. And the people who are defending it keep asking for a bigger budget instead of asking why the last budget failed. It's a money grab. If this was a national model somebody's pitching for 2028, you better look at what's going on in California first. So here's where I land. Every problem that's happening in California with the spending, the housing, the schools, the homelessness situation, the jobs walking out the door, happening under one party, one set of policies with no real opposition to slow it down. And it takes CNN of all places to put this all on a chart and say the most important thing out loud. You don't need to dunk on California to understand this. It's a warning because the people who are running this model aren't trying to keep it local. Like I said with Gavin Newsom, most likely he's going to try to run. So again, before anyone sells you that this is a great idea, this is a national blueprint, just look at the 2 million people who already left the state. But let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.